Welcome to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping Orange County. With your host, Don Camber.
Hello, live from the OC Talk Radio studios at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber with another great guest impacting our community in a positive way. Today, I welcome Festival of the Arts, Pageant of the Masters, Marketing and Public Relations Director Sharbie Higuchi. Both are held at the Festival of Arts grounds on Laguna Canyon Road in Laguna Beach. Thank you, Sharbie, for being on Impact OC.
Oh, Dawn, thanks for having me.
Sharbie, the festival is celebrating its 90th anniversary. What can we expect to see on the grounds between July 5th and September 2nd?
Well, yeah, it's hard to believe 90 years since the inception of the Festival of Arts, which is our fine art show that we have. I'm going to give you a little bit of history before I tell you what's going on currently, but it started back in 1932 during the Great Depression, which I think is fascinating, this innovative idea. What happened is the group of artists, as well as some of the community members of Laguna Beach, got together and they were trying to figure out a way to attract people down to Laguna Beach and why the Olympics was going on back then in Los Angeles back in 1932. So they were trying to get that tourism market to come down. So a gentleman by the name of John Hinchman came up with a lovely idea. He said, let's have a Festival of the Arts and let's celebrate all throughout the city of Laguna Beach, and we'll have the artists be able to display their artwork, and they hung their artwork on trees and fences, and then they had activities all throughout the city of Laguna Beach, and guess what? It worked. And people came down, and that was the very humble beginnings of the Festival of Arts. And fast forward now, 2022, and this year we have 120 artists who will be displaying their artwork, and everything that you see is available for sale. You have every medium that is imaginable there, from jewelry to woodwork through traditional painting. It is a juried-fine art show. So these are all artists that are from Orange County, and I like to say it's the best of Orange County, and we're excited to welcome them back. In fact, we have two of our artists is celebrating huge milestones. They have been in the festival for 50 years each. Can you believe that? Jacobus Boss, as well as who's an oil painter, and also Dan Miller, who happens to be a jeweler. So in addition to all that wonderful artwork you get to see, there's tons of fun activity going on in the grounds. We have entertainment, live musical performances every single night, as well as on the afternoon on the weekends. We also have our art centers opened up this summer. And so we ask our patrons to try their hands at being an artist, what it might be like, and they can take home their own personal work of art home with them. There's classes every single day. There's 2 classes that are free and available for people to participate in at our art center. And then we have specialty classes as well, some youth art classes. We have some classes for teen and adults. One of my favorites is the wine and painting class. And then we also have pianos and prints. And so lots of fun things to do. And again, a lot of people don't realize the Festival of Arts is a nonprofit art organization. And so a lot of what we do, we give back to the community. So people don't realize that over the years, we have given probably over $3.5 million in art scholarships to local students. And we also have given some money to grants and everything to local organizations.
Well, the Pageants Theme is a wonderful world, and it will go on between July 7th and September 2nd. Explain the pageant.
Yeah, so the pageant runs in, it starts amazing living picture performance. It's hard to really put it in words, as you well know, because I know you've seen it multiple times. But what we do is we take real people and we dress them up in costume, and then we built the Leonardo da Vinci's painting. And then we dress the people up to look like the Last Supper, the disciples. And then they're shown in this beautiful amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater, and we tell a story as each of these living pictures are being presented. And I tell you, the director, Diane Chalice Davies, she has lots of surprises in store for the audience this year. And everything is accompanied by beautiful orchestra music, which is also live, and then a script. So there's roughly about probably between 35 35 and 40 pieces of living art that we'll be presenting this year. And as each piece is being presented, our narrator, Richard Doyle, will tell the story about the piece and how it fits in the theme. And this year's theme is Wonderful World.
So what can we see? Can you tell us?
Oh, yeah. So this year, the Wonderful World, I'm going to say it's kind of like a love letter to travel, you know, and it's also an opportunity to pay tribute to art and artists from around the world. So the very first segment of the show is a really very neat segment of travel posters. So you're going to see posters like from Australia, all over, everywhere you can imagine, and opens it up to basically set the mood or the tone, if you will, of the show. Additionally to the travel posters, we travel to Africa and looks up some wonderful African art in Mexico. Diego Rivera's artwork you're going to see recreated in the show this summer. Swedish artist Carl Larsson will also be, his work will be recreated. And so basically, I think we end up traveling around 17 different countries. So we're telling the story of travel simply through artwork and these recreations of art. And one thing I should mention is all the people that you see posing as these famous works of art, they are all volunteers. It takes probably roughly about 500 volunteers to put on our show.
And how long does the show last?
The show is roughly about 90 minutes with an intermission. It happens every evening from July 7th through September 2nd at 8:30 p.m. because the magic is really in the lighting. So it really has to be dark in order for us to, well, in order for the magic to happen, really.
And you guys take advantage of the Irvine Bowl because it's not only on stage that you could see some activity. There could be some things on the side, or even if you look up in the sky.
Are you giving those secrets away, Dawn? Yes, and you're going to see a lot of this year. I had kind of a sneak peek of some surprises that are going to be up along the hillside and to the right of the audience and even up on top of the stage. So lots of surprises for the audience in store. This year you're going to see a lot of dance in the show. And everyone's favorite is what we call the builder, is when we actually put a work of art together right before your eyes. So we'll actually have the volunteers come out in costume on the stage. Our posers will help position them into the set so the audience can see them actually getting into the set so they know it's real people in all these pieces. And then they'll get them in the proper position. The stage will go dark, the lights will come up, and guess what? Magically, it looks just like a famous works of art. Living and breathing, though.
Yeah, really. But a question has been asked. How young can a person see the show and appreciate it?
Wow, gosh. Okay, so I would say 8 and up is probably a good age. You have to be able to sit through it. It is a 90-minute show. But if someone really enjoys artwork and the storytelling, I think they could sit there and really enjoy it, especially whenever they find out there's real people in there. We do rent binoculars on our grounds. I would encourage people, if they come to the show, to bring binoculars and also sweaters because it does get cold there in the evenings. But then they can kind of see the people blinking and, breathing and from a distance and everything, because it is hard to tell when you really, as you well know, that it's real art, that's people when it actually looks like a piece of art.
I always ask you this. How can someone appreciate art?
Gosh, well, through the Pageant of the Masters, we call that art appreciation because we're telling you a story. And as a nonprofit whose mission is to support arts and arts education, the pageant itself is really, well, it's an entertaining art history lesson if you kind of think about it, right? So that's one great way to appreciate art. The other way is we do have those 120 artists that are out there on the grounds. And I encourage people to talk to those incredible artists in the booths and ask them about their mediums and their techniques and maybe even what inspires them, and tell them about themselves. And the stories are, there's 120 diverse, very different stories. So appreciating art is a personal thing. And what speaks to you might be something very different to what speaks to me.
And there's all kinds of art.
All type of art on our grounds of those 120 artists. So as I said, we have jewelers, we have painters, both watercolor and oil painters, acrylic painters. We have some woodworkers this year. Sculptures. We have some new this year. We have someone who paints. It's like egg tempura, yeah, and it's at tempura. Excuse me, and that's very fascinating. So all different kind of mediums and photography as well. Lots of photography.
And you get people from across the country to come to this show.
Oh, actually, Dawn, from all over the world, believe it or not, people will come to the festival and the pageant. Roughly those 2 months, we'll have over 225,000 people attend both shows.
Give us the website.
Our website, if you're interested in buying pageant tickets, go to pageanttickets.com. Or you can just, for information about the festival, and also the pageant too, go to F as in Frank, OAPOM.com.
What are the logistics of going to the show in terms of parking and transportation?
Well, it is Laguna Beach, and as you know, that can be kind of challenging during the summer because there's 2 other art festivals that are going on at the same time. So it can be challenging, but we have a wonderful trolley system that the city has that you can park. And on the outskirts of Laguna Beach, there's especially right on Laguna Canyon Ride, there's a parking place called Act 5. It's the best deal too. It's only $7 to park there. Hop the trolley. The trolley is free and it will take you downtown to the festivals and throughout the entire city of Laguna Beach. And then there's also city lots throughout the city, throughout the Laguna Beach that you could purchase parking from and walk. In fact, there's a parking lot right across from the Festival of Arts that you could park and come across the street. There's meters additionally. And so there's all type of opportunities to be able to find transportation. We've gotten a little technically savvy. There's a trolley tracker, the app that you can download and know where the trolley are at each particular time, as well as there's also a parking app to help you find parking locations in Laguna Beach.
What's the rule on food?
The rule for the Festival of Arts and Pageant the Masters, well, there's you may bring a picnic on the festival grounds and come and listen to the music. We do, it does have to be a certain size, can't be no more than 14 by 14 by 14, so don't bring a gigantic cooler in because we won't accept that. But we do allow food in, bring your own picnic, you can bring your own wine in. And if you don't feel like packing your own food, we also have two food venues on our site. One is Terra, which is more like a sit-down restaurant that you can enjoy, but we also have a little location, grab to go. It's called Intermission, so you can more so grab sandwiches and things like that and salads, and again go sit on that green, listen to the music, walk around, talk to the artists. There's art tours every night. That's another great way to appreciate art, by the way, is go on one of those art tours. They are volunteer docents, and they know quite a bit about art and can share their knowledge with you.
What kinds of entertainment?
Oh, entertainment, music-wise, you name it, we have it. We have jazz, we have tribute bands, couple brand new things that are happening this year. We have a series on Tuesday night. It's called That Girl Can Sing, and it features female performers, which is very fun. And if you're interested to see what Laguna might have to offer, on Wednesday nights we have local nights, and there will be some Laguna bands and performers on Wednesday nights. That's new for us this year. Also new for us there, on Sunday afternoons we're going to have a grand piano series, musical series. So that is going to be on. I'm very excited about that, to see how that goes, but that's new.
Is that dueling pianos?
No, not a dueling piano, single grand piano, but it'll be incredible and fun, and we'll see how it goes. But there's some wonderful pianists that's been booked, and I'm looking forward to watching them perform. The other thing is, it is our 90th, as I said earlier, and we're having a big birthday bash on August 13th. August 13th, and back in 1932 rather, was our inception date. And so on August 13th this year, we're going to have a huge birthday bash. It's in partnership with the city of Laguna Beach. One of our Laguna's famous residents is Stray Cat Lee Rocker. He's going to be performing that afternoon about 1 o'clock. Prior to that, we're going to have all type of fun surprises for people and announcements and proclamations and probably some cookies. And admission is free to the Festival Arts that day as well. So you might say we're going to rock that down on August 13th.
So when someone comes to the Festival Arts grounds, how do you recommend they enjoy the grounds?
How do I recommend that? Oh gosh, there's so much to see and do. I would actually, well, first stop, get a glass of wine. And then, the music starts every evening, roughly about 5:30. So, you might want to sit down, enjoy a performance, then walk around and visit the 120 artists that work is being on displayed and talk to them. If you have time or feel like it, go do a project in the Art Center. And one of my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite, is our junior art exhibit. Our junior art exhibit actually has roughly about between 300 and 400 pieces of art that are from students from pre-kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. That artwork that was selected to be showcased at the Festival of Arts. This is our junior art exhibit. It is really quite an honor for those kids to be alongside of the professional artists. And in fact, it's really interesting. We have some artists who back in the day, they had their work exhibited in the junior art exhibit, and it was such a powerful experience for them that they decided to become artists. So we have Molly and Anthony Salvo. Actually, Anthony Salvo is one of the artists who are currently a professional artist that had his work showcased back in the 70s, I think, in the junior art exhibit.
What is the most unusual piece of art you've seen?
Gosh, I don't know what to say to that. Unusual.
I've seen unusual clothing as art.
Well, I don't think any art is unusual because, like I said earlier, there's something for everybody. So, unusual. I think it's interesting to see how photography and digital art and mixed media has kind of come along. There's one photographer that does underwater mermaid. Yes. And there's another photographer that she goes scuba diving and captures the, sea creatures from beneath. And that's very interesting to see. And gosh, Tom Lamb is one of our photographers, and he does aerial photography, but it makes it look more like an abstract painting, but it is actually aerial photography from above. So there's all type of unique. I think everything is unique, but hope that answers your question.
But
yeah.
There's also a lot to learn from the art. And what do you learn from the art?
Gosh, I think just to be around all that creativity is powerful, right? So, and their innovation and, but the creativity, creativity teaches us, and this was true about our junior art exhibit, it teaches you to think a little bit outside the box. And even though maybe you're not an artist yourself, but if you have creativity and innovation, that's going to serve you well in the future for whatever you choose to do.
And it's all in the interpretation.
Interpretation? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you look at it and then you see how it makes you feel and then how the artist interprets it. You could see something different than the way the artist presented it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you certainly can't. You have your own experiences, and that it's going to influence what you see or how you might feel about a piece. And so I think you're right. Everyone could look at the same piece of art a little differently.
I mean, sculpture, you could look at something and you could think it's one thing, and the artist will say, well, it's really this.
Right. Yeah. So that is why it's important to really talk to the artist and get feedback about their artwork.
And it's pretty much a lot of it's for sale. So if you see something,
everything is for sale, pretty much. Yeah. So, I actually have quite a few pieces that I purchased personally from our artists, because you have to think, that's a great way to really support local artists. And additionally, though, you get to enjoy something you take home and you absolutely love it. So you can have anything from, again, abstract to more traditional. There's all type of different mediums available for people to enjoy.
Again, share the dates of both festivals.
Okay, so the Fine Art Show opens on July 5th and runs through September 2nd, and the Pageant of the Masters opens on July 7th and also runs through September 2nd.
Thank you, Festival of Arts Pageant of the Masters Marketing and Public Relations Director Sharbie Higuchi. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Dawn Camber. Have an impactful day.
You've been listening to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping our community. Right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.